Hey guys, it's History Behind the Warrior, and today I'm going to be talking about the top 5 premier skins I want to see in Injustice 2. Now, since these are premier skins, they are just going to be something that can go over an already existing character, but does have the ability to change like the animation of certain moves to kind of suit the character. A good example of this is Bizarro. Instead of Superman's normal frost breath, he has fire breath, and the animation from base character to premier skin character is significantly different. So I will be taking this into account with certain characters that I do feature on here. Now, to also make things interesting, I've only featured characters on this list who in the game right now do not have a premier skin, so it does create some interesting ideas for developers to make some new premier skins, because they are really damn good. Now, the people who I do feature on here are in no particular order, and I've only shortened it down to 5 because, well, hey, that's my list, shut up. But I did want to keep this list short and sweet. Now, do keep in mind, if I don't feature a character you particularly like here, it's not because I don't like them, I most likely didn't think of them. So if that is the case, please do go down in the comments below, and please put in the premier skin you'd like to see for said character, because more ideas for premier skins means the higher possibility of said premier skin making it in game. So please do make your voice heard. Anyway, on that note, let's actually get on to the video. Number 5, an Arsenal premier skin for Green Arrow. Now, I know that Ollie has a red shader in game, but Roy Harper works under the name Arsenal now instead of Red Arrow, so as such I'm going to treat him as a different character. Now, in saying that, gameplay wise the two could just more or less be very similar. There isn't too much you could alter here, as it's not like they can form some sort of construct, but you could possibly modify the meter burn boxing glove arrow, maybe turn that into something else. Now, the reason why I do say Arsenal, because well, there aren't really that many other well-known archers in the comic books, I'm going to exclude the TV show, and Roy does have ties to the original Green Arrow, who actually did die, so it'd be very interesting to see him resurface and have some banter with the new Green Arrow, as well as interact with someone like Superman, because at the very beginning of Roy Harper's career as Speedy, not Red Arrow or Arsenal, he had a very kind of deep father-son relationship with Oliver, although in time there'd be a lot of friction between the two and they would separate because Roy got addicted to heroin, but that's not the point I'm trying to make here. The character interactions would be extremely interesting, and it would kind of add a cool aspect with the character interactions between him and the new Green Arrow. We'd have the two battle against each other for title of the best archer. It could even be for the mantle of Green Arrow, or maybe Roy would just want to test this new Oliver Queen to see how he matches up to the old one. There's a lot of really good opportunities here, as he'd have very interesting dialogue with Dinah, the new Green Arrow, Superman, and Starfire and Red Hood, because at the beginning of the new 52 comic book run, he was working with them in the comic book series known as Red Hood and the Outlaws, so there would be quite a lot of interesting dialogue there. There's a lot of opportunities here for him, and I feel like Arsenal would fit into the game, even if it is as a premier skin. Now, at number 4, this one's a bit of a double whammy. I'd want to see a Kilowog and Chip skin, or Atrocitus and Dexter, and this is the one that I'm really looking forward to seeing if it does happen, as it means we'll be able to see different construct forged in replacement of Atrocitus's moveset. So all the tools would be the exact same, but the animations would be different, much like how Bizarro has the heat breath. The Bloodnado could simply be turned into a tornado, obviously made out of constructs he'd made. The Acid Spit could be replaced with an energy beam possibly being fired from the chest. Obviously hit proportions will still remain the same, and the sickle Atrocitus has could be replaced with a numerous plethora of weapons. It really would allow the designers the opportunity to explore and kind of put a fun spin on Atrocitus's already existing moveset. It'd make for some very unique changes and give a different visual look to the character, as most alternate skins he does have don't particularly change too much visually of what you see him do in game. So by putting in Kilowog, it switches out the red for the green and can be seen as quite refreshing. Now, Chip would more or less kind of be a reskin of Dexter at this point, since Dexter doesn't really do anything outside of his trait, besides make things safe, create shields, and just be a general nuisance when he's out. So Chip would just more or less be a reskin, nothing particularly too special. For the most part, the massive changes would be to Kilowog. Now, character interactions is where this premier skin would get very interesting, as in this universe, Kilowog is kind of dead, but so is Bizarro, and he still makes it in as a premier skin. Now, it would be very interesting to see what he has to say to Hal Jordan, because at the time he was captured and imprisoned and well killed, Hal Jordan had turned his back on the Green Lantern Corps. He had killed Guy Gardner and was aligned with the Sinestro Corps, the very thing he was sworn to battle against. So seeing him interact with Kilowog would be very interesting. I expect to see a lot of gripes between the two, as Kilowog was one of the people on Oa to in fact teach him. So it'd make a very interesting student versus teacher interaction. Plus you can only imagine how disappointed he must be that he did align himself with the Sinestro Corps. Plus it would be great to watch him interact with Jon Stewart and even Atrocitus himself, as the Lantern Corps don't really get along too well. Number 3. A Ra's al Ghul skin for Robin. I'm genuinely surprised that this hasn't already been done. Ra's has always been considered as one of Batman's best villains, and has been a man that has been known for his formidable fighting capabilities in not only hand-to-hand combat, but through the use of weapons. Hell, he's even the grandfather of the base character I'm talking about here. His teachings have passed on throughout the League of Assassins, meaning that many of his students try to replicate his style. So I was genuinely shocked that he wasn't an already existing premier skin in the base game. Now yes, I do understand in the current comic book run, he is the main antagonist, but this could also be used for cross promotion. Have one help out the other. And even if Ra's were to die at the end of this comic book story arc in the Injustice 2 comics, he could still make it in as a premier skin. Bizarro already has. Jon Stewart already has. So the possibility of him actually making it in is most certainly possible. Ra's has always been a very methodical foe, not only to just Batman himself, but also the rest of the Justice League. He's a very dangerous player in the universe. And let's say if he were to die in the Injustice 2 comics, and if he were to appear in this game, you could have him be revived through the use of the Lazarus Pit, but maybe have him come out a little bit more crazy than normal. As most times that you do go into the Lazarus Pit, you do 9 times out of 10 come out insane and have a thirst for murder. Now as you'd probably expect, character interactions would be really cool, especially with that of Bruce and his grandson Damian. You could have a lot of Easter eggs and references to what had happened in the Injustice 2 comic book series. A lot of really good interaction. We could have some references back to the League of Shadows training sessions with Damian, or maybe some student versus master fights with him and Batman. As in many incarnations, Ra's had taught Batman a lot of what he knows. Now at number 2, Clayface as a premier skin for Swamp Thing. This is one that I would absolutely love to see. I've adored the really kind of creepy and grisly style that the Arkham games gave to Clayface. It made him look truly horrific, and I would love to see this translate over into Injustice 2. Clayface is well made out of clay. There's a lot of really creative things you could do with him design wise. Plus these are the guys who put in a bunch of horror characters into Mortal Kombat X. If any studio can make this character look terrifying, it's most certainly NRS. Now personally, I could really see this skin working well with Swamp Thing's moveset. The ability of Clayface to be flexible, really be able to contort himself into anything, would make it work really well with Swamp Thing. Just obviously give the character a reskin and have many of his moves obviously function similar to Swamp Thing. You could still have the Vine Grab function the same way, just obviously make it be made out of clay. Have it be so his overhead moves be like him turning his hand into a mace, or just any other sort of weapon. His trait could even be changed, and instead of Abigail's garden, you get this massive trail of cement and clay that functions the exact same. It works as a trap because it's well clay. You get stuck in cement, it's not going to be easy to get out of. So I really do feel like Clayface would work extremely well as a premier skin for Swamp Thing. Plus again, character interactions would be great. As a fun fact about the character is that he also worked with the regime for a little while before he disappeared in the comic book run. Anyway, here is a honorable mention, as I did want to feature a female on this list. I couldn't find someone that really worked well with Wonder Woman, so I've decided to go with Superwoman from the Crime Syndicate. Now the reason why she's an honorable mention here is because at my number 1 spot, I've actually featured another member of the Crime Syndicate, and someone who has been in high demand, Owlman. Now this is a very interesting one. For those of you who are quite unfamiliar with the concept of Owlman, he's basically a parallel version of Batman, except a hell of a lot more fucked up. You see, in his New 52 incarnation, Bruce wasn't the only child of Thomas and Martha Wayne. There was an elder child from Bruce by the name of Thomas Jr. Now as he grew older, he saw how poor his mother and father were handling their wealth, and as such actually had them killed. Now Bruce was aware of this, but was too scared to do anything. But knowing that his brother would say something, Thomas would actually kill his younger brother, as well as his butler Alfred. After this point, he would assert his power and dominance over Gotham under the evil persona of Owlman. It wasn't long until he met fellow villains like Superwoman and Ultraman, to where they began setting off to conquer worlds and put them under their heel, in typical supervillain style. Now due to the very kind of sick sense of justice that Owlman gets, I feel like he'd really fit into the Injustice universe. It's a broken dystopian world, and somewhere where I would feel that he'd kind of strive to rise to the cream of the crop as the head of his own criminal organization. So I'd personally think it'd really be cool, especially if Superman says something along the lines of, "Great, another foolish, fatherless tyrant." There's so much irony many in that one sentence. It'd be very interesting to see what they could do with him dialogue-wise, as Thomas has so many similarities to Bruce. Plus gameplay-wise, they wouldn't have to change essentially too much. Just give him a new skin and probably change his batarangs to Owlerangs or whatever they're called, and that's it really. It's a very simple skin to be done, and fans have been asking for it for quite a while now. But yeah, that's kind of been it for this list. I hope you have thoroughly enjoyed this, as I've been wanting to talk about this for a while, and I really do feel like there should be more Premier skins in the game. I'm all for them, as long as they're creative and quite different, because there are a few that I'm not entirely too impressed with. Now in the comments below, please put in the Premier skin you would love to see in game, as a great way of brainstorming some really creative ideas for NRS 2 and Factor Pro. Now what other Injustice 2 top 5s lists would you like to see? Also comment that down below. Now before this video wraps up guys, if possible let's try getting it to about 500 likes. It's a great way of supporting this channel, as YouTube's ad system is absolutely broken right now. So by giving this video a thumbs up, it helps out not only this video, but this channel as a whole. Now as always guys, please comment, like, subscribe, and share this video with everyone you know. Please take care, and I'll see you all next time.